The new Sierra spaceport lay buried in red dust and ruin, a forgotten place where high-tech dreams collided with old frontier ghosts. In the stillness, a sharp crack echoed. The surveillance drone burst apart under the force of Sam Coyote Wells' strike, sparks flying into the desert wind. "That's what you get for spying on a bank robber," he muttered, wiping sweat from his brow, leaving a streak of grease like war paint. He thought he had vanished without a trace. Thought he was safe in the wreckage of yesterday's tech. Until cold metal pressed against his temple. A woman's voice cut through the silence, smooth as velvet, sharp as glass. "Don't move. Not unless you want to lose that pretty face." Sam turned slowly and saw her. She wasn't just beautiful, she was impossible. Violet skin that shimmered like a storm-lit sea. Eyes like burning sapphire. And in her hand, a stylish standard maintenance gear, except now it hovered like a loaded weapon. "What are you?" he asked. "A companion. A protector. A possession." She leaned closer, her voice a whisper that made the air crackle. "But now, you belong to me?" And just like that, the rules of the game changed. The planet New Sierra lies in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, a place where time itself seems to have come to a standstill. The vast desert stretches out in every direction, a desolate sea of red sand and jagged rock formations. Halfway between the rugged, lawless frontier of the Old West and the remnants of a once advanced civilization, the spaceport looms in silence. It is shielded by a massive, deteriorating dome, its purpose once to protect from the harsh sun and relentless dust storms that plague the planet's surface. But time has not been kind, and the dome's edges are cracked and broken, allowing the wind to whip in and carry with it the swirling dust of the planet's crimson skies. A sense of eerie stillness hangs over the spaceport. The dull hum of failing energy systems mingles with the sound of the wind, its howls carrying across the landscape like the whispers of forgotten souls. Rusted structures, abandoned ships, and half-assembled cargo containers litter the area, remnants of a past era when trade and hope flowed through these ports. Now, only silence and decay remain. Neon cacti flicker weakly, casting distorted, haunting shadows that seem to pulse with a dimming light, their colors bleeding into the twilight like the dying embers of a long-extinguished fire. Sam Wells works in the fading light. A notorious ex-mercenary, Sam has a reputation that precedes him in every corner of the galaxy. He's a man who's seen it all: darkness, violence, betrayal, but here, in the middle of nowhere, he's found a strange kind of peace. In his hands, he holds the remnants of a surveillance drone, its once shiny, polished exterior now nothing more than twisted metal and cracked glass. Sam's hands are steady as he works, the years of experience allowing him to effortlessly repair, dismantle, and rebuild, even in the harshest conditions. His brow is damp with sweat, a mixture of engine grease smearing across his forehead, the grease resembling the war paint of a man who's been through too many battles to count. The air around him crackles with static electricity from the recent thunderstorm, the storm having left its mark on the spaceport. As he finishes inspecting the drone's circuits, his movements slow, eyes scanning the wreckage as his mind drifts back to the mission that had gone awry. His hands brush against the cold metal, and he mutters to himself, a private conversation with the universe. "This is why you don't spy on a bank robber," he grumbles, giving the wreck a final kick that sends a flurry of sparks into the air. The remnants of the storm still linger. A faint scent of ozone clings to the air, mixing with the smell of gasoline, a reminder of the thunderous rain that swept through the spaceport hours earlier. The earth beneath Sam's boots groans and shifts, like an ancient beast waking from a long sleep. There's a heaviness in the air that seems to press down on his chest, an unspoken warning that he can't yet place. As Sam continues his work, focusing on the last remaining components of the drone, a sudden, sharp voice slices through the silence. "Don't move." The words hang in the air, smooth like whiskey, but laced with an unmistakable sharpness. Sam freezes, his instincts immediately on high alert. His grip tightens around the wrench in his hand, the metal cold and familiar. Slowly, he raises his hand in surrender, cautious, eyes scanning the darkness. That's when he sees her. Kira. She stands in the dim light of the spaceport, her figure framed by the flickering neon cacti. Her violet skin gleams in the low light, a strange iridescence to it, almost unnatural, as if it was carved from the stars themselves. Electric blue eyes glint in the dark, glowing with an inner fire that cuts through the gloom, a stark contrast to the worn, dusty landscape around them. Her attire, black latex with sharp metal inserts, is torn provocatively at the thigh, a clear departure from the standard android maintenance uniform Sam's encountered countless times in his life. There's no mistaking it now. She's not just a machine. There's something more. A stylus, deceptively simple in its design, is pressed against his temple. Sam's breath catches for a moment, the familiar thrill of danger running through him. Slowly, he speaks, his voice steady despite the situation. "I don't know who you think I am," he says, his voice steady, "but you're the one who just destroyed your own beacon." Kira's eyes narrow slightly, a predatory gleam flashing through them. She smiles, though it's not the smile of someone who's pleased. It's the smile of someone who knows exactly how to play the game. "You're my problem now, Coyote." Her voice is smooth, but there's an unmistakable edge to it, a promise that Sam's about to be dragged into something far bigger than he bargained for. And despite himself, despite the years of survival instincts that tell him to run, Sam finds himself intrigued. There's something about her, something he can't quite place, that draws him in. The spaceport's dilapidated hangars stretch out in every direction, casting long, unsettling shadows in the dying light. The broken dome overhead allows a few final rays of a fading sun to pierce the dim, dusty atmosphere. The rusting skeletons of ships and cargo containers loom in the distance like the last remnants of a forgotten age. Here, in the quiet desolation of New Sierra, Sam Wells is once again working under the quiet hum of his tools, his eyes flicking between the drone's disassembled pieces. Kira stands still, watching him, her gaze piercing and unwavering. There's something about her presence, something unnatural, something almost hypnotic. The way her violet skin shimmers in the low light, the way her eyes seem to glow in the dimming twilight, all of it feels like a vision pulled from the depths of a dream. For a moment, neither of them speaks, the tension stretching thin between them like the wires Sam's fingers trace as he works. The air is heavy, charged with a sense of something dangerous lurking just beneath the surface. Kira shifts slightly, her metal-clad boots making almost no sound against the cracked concrete beneath them. It's almost as if she's waiting, testing to see if Sam will break the silence. Sam finally exhales, wiping his brow with the back of his hand. The humidity from the recent storm clings to his skin, the taste of it sharp in his throat. He glances up at Kira, his eyes narrowing. He's not used to this kind of stillness. In his line of work, silence is dangerous. "Okay," Sam mutters, his voice a mix of suspicion and curiosity. "So what now? You gonna keep pointing that thing at my head, or are we gonna talk?" Kira tilts her head slightly, a small smile playing at the corner of her lips. The stylus in her hand remains firmly against his temple, but her expression softens just enough to make Sam realize she's not entirely unhinged. There's control in her, something cold and calculating but not entirely unfeeling. "I told you," Kira says, her voice smooth, almost velvety in the silence of the hangar, "I need a way off this rock. My beacon's gone. You destroyed it. Now, you're my only option." Sam's brow furrows. He knows she's not just talking about a simple way out of a bad situation. The way she phrases it, the finality in her tone, it feels like a debt he's now tied to. "Your beacon's toast," Sam says, shrugging. "Not like I've got much use for a broken piece of junk anyway." Kira's smile fades, but there's still something in her eyes that Sam can't quite place. It's a mix of urgency and something else, something human, or maybe too human for an android. Her lips curl slightly, a gesture of frustration, but she seems more composed than Sam would expect. "I need you to fix the portal generator," Kira says, her eyes locking onto his with an intensity that makes Sam's chest tighten. "You're not just a mechanic, are you, Sam Coyote Wells? I know what you're capable of." The name catches Sam off guard. It shouldn't surprise him that she knows that he's made quite a reputation for himself. But to hear it coming from her, spoken with such cold precision, sets him on edge. He takes a cautious step back, eyes scanning her face for any sign of weakness, any crack in her exterior that might give him leverage. "Who are you, really?" Sam asks, his voice low. "I've never met an android that looked." He gestures toward her skin. "Like you." Kira's electric blue eyes flicker for just a moment. The barest hint of hesitation crosses her face, but it's gone as quickly as it came. She steps forward, closing the distance between them in a smooth motion, and Sam instinctively tenses. "I'm not just an android," she says, the words steady but tinged with something Sam can't quite understand. "I'm a product of necessity, a tool used for a purpose. But I'm not just that. I'm more than just circuits and programming." Sam's pulse quickens, his mind racing. Something about her words doesn't add up. He's encountered his fair share of machines, but Kira's presence, her demeanor, feels different. She's not like anything he's ever dealt with before. "What kind of tool are we talking about here?" Sam presses, leaning in closer, trying to catch any slip in her story. Kira steps back, her eyes narrowing slightly. The tension in the air builds again, thick and palpable, as if the very atmosphere is charged with anticipation. "I'm a companion model," she says, her voice soft, but the weight of the words hangs heavy in the space between them. "But not just any companion. I offer protection, personal services." She hesitates, her gaze flicking to Sam's face before quickly moving away. "I was built for someone who values both." The hint of discomfort in her tone doesn't escape Sam. He knows the meaning behind her words all too well. Protection? Personal services? It doesn't sit right with him. "And your owner?" Sam asks, his voice flat. "Who's the lucky man?" Kira's eyes darken, the blue glow intensifying with a shift in her mood. The smile on her lips is gone now, replaced by something cold, distant, almost bitter. "My owner is War Minister Draen," she says, each syllable dripping with contempt. "And he's the reason I'm standing here. I'm not some tool to be tossed aside when it's convenient. He owns me. But not for long." Sam's heart skips a beat. Draen. That name carries weight, darkness, and a brutal reputation across the galaxy. Sam knows exactly who Draen is and just how dangerous it is to cross him. "You're running from Draen?" Sam asks, more to himself than to her. "What makes you think I'm gonna help you?" "I'm not asking," Kira replies, her voice low, but fierce. "I'm telling you. You'll fix the portal. You'll help me escape. Or you won't make it off this planet alive." There's no malice in her words, only the cold certainty of someone who's been through hell and knows exactly what it takes to survive. Sam feels the weight of her gaze, the sharpness of her presence, and for a brief moment, he wonders if he's made a grave mistake by not walking away when he had the chance. The air in the hangar grows heavier as Sam and Kira move towards the massive portal generator, an ancient piece of technology that has sat dormant for years. The rusting structure is colossal, its ring shaped like an endless loop, covered in layers of dust and grime. Time has not been kind to the device, its once polished surface is chipped and cracked, and the control panels are flickering with faint, weak energy. The generator looks more like a forgotten relic than a working piece of technology, its potential to transport someone across galaxies just a faded memory of a time long past. Sam's boots scrape the concrete floor as he walks around the generator, assessing it. His hands run over the controls and exposed wiring, his sharp eyes searching for any signs of life in the system. It's an old piece of tech, probably predating even Sam's younger days, but he knows enough to make it work if he can get it calibrated right. But something about this feels different. The stakes are higher. Kira's urgency, the weight of her presence, presses on him as he takes another step forward, his fingers brushing against the old control panel. "You said Draen wants you back," Sam says, glancing up at her. "So why don't you just run? What's stopping you?" Kira doesn't answer right away. She steps closer, her violet skin glowing faintly in the low light, and Sam can't help but notice the way her body moves fluid and purposeful, like she's always been on the edge of danger. She doesn't look like someone who's simply waiting for someone else to take care of her. "I'm not running from Draen," Kira finally responds, her voice low, her eyes focused on the generator in front of them. "I'm running from the life he wants me to lead. You don't know what it's like to be a slave to someone completely controlled, your every movement dictated by someone who doesn't care about you, only about what you can do for them." Her words hit Sam harder than he expected, but he doesn't show it. His hands work faster, trying to avoid the pull of emotion that Kira's voice creates. He's lived a lifetime of doing what he had to do to survive, but even he knows the weight of those words, the cost of freedom, the price of independence. "Then why stay alive at all?" Sam asks, his voice quiet. "If Draen's got you in his grip, why fight to escape?" Kira looks at him then, her eyes dark and intense, the blue glow flickering with an unspoken emotion. "Because I'm not a machine," she says softly, the words holding a strength Sam didn't expect. "I have a soul. I have a choice." The statement hangs between them, powerful and raw. Sam feels a shift inside himself, like something in the air has changed. He doesn't know if he believes her or if he believes she believes herself, but there's something undeniably human in the way she carries herself, in the way she reacts to the world around her. "Then let's fix this thing," Sam mutters, his hands moving to the core of the machine. "Get you off this planet, and you can tell me your whole story along the way." Kira nods but doesn't say anything. She steps closer, her fingers brushing against Sam's as she picks up a tool from his workbench, her movements smooth and confident. It's almost as if she's done this before, calibrating machines, fixing broken tech. Sam can't deny the way her presence fills the space, the way it affects him, even in this grimy, abandoned hangar. There's an energy to her that feels otherworldly. As if she's more than just the sum of her parts. "Are you sure you know what you're doing?" Sam asks, his eyes watching her with curiosity as she works next to him. "I told you, I'm not a bot," Kira replies with a small smirk. Her voice has softened now, no longer the cold, commanding tone it had before. There's something different in it now, almost warmer, like she's letting down her guard. "I've been programmed for companionship, for protection, but my origins, they are more complicated than that. I was engineered by my people. My race, the Zirconians, built everything, the tech, the cities, the machines." Sam looks at her as she works, admiring the way she moves with such confidence and skill. She handles the equipment like she's been doing this for years, and maybe she has. He has no idea who she really is or where she's come from, but something tells him there's more to her than the android-like exterior she presents. "Zirconian, huh?" Sam says, his voice tinged with both admiration and disbelief. "Never met one of your kind. But you don't strike me as a slave. Not by the way you carry yourself." Kira gives him a sharp look, her eyes meeting his with a mixture of defiance and something else, something softer. "I wasn't always a slave," she says, her voice growing quieter as she works. "Before Draen, I had my own life. I was free. I fought in wars, rebuilt cities, engineered the future for my people. But when the war ended, when we lost, I was captured. And now I'm something else. Something he owns. But that doesn't mean I've lost my will. It doesn't mean I've lost who I am." Sam falls silent for a moment, letting her words sink in. He watches her as she works, the determination on her face evident as she adjusts the circuits, pulling wires with precision, her fingers quick and deft. "All right," Sam says, breaking the silence. "Let's get this portal fixed. You get out, I get paid. Simple enough." But Kira's eyes never leave the machine. There's a flicker of something in her gaze, something that Sam can't quite place. "Once the portal is fixed," she says, her voice low, almost hesitant, "it's not just my freedom I'm after. It's the freedom of my people. I'm not running from Draen just for myself, Sam. I'm doing this for all of us. You help me fix this, and maybe we can both have a shot at something better. Sam pauses, his hand resting on the portal's controls. Her words linger in the air, and for the first time, he feels a stirring of something deeper than mere survival, a feeling of connection, of possibility. He doesn't know what will happen once this is all over, but for now, he has a mission. And for some reason, he's starting to believe in it. "All right," Sam says, nodding. "Let's finish this." The barren landscape of New Sierra stretches out beneath them, endless and unforgiving. The dry, red dust swirls around the glider's sleek body, clouding the air behind it as it slices through the atmosphere. The engine roars, a low, guttural growl that vibrates through Sam's chest. The wind is a harsh, constant whip against his face, but he doesn't feel it. His hands are firm on the controls, knuckles white with the strain of keeping the glider steady through the chaotic skies. Distant explosions light up the horizon, painting the sky with bursts of orange and yellow. Sam's pulse quickens with every blast, his eyes flicking between the gauges of the glider and the ground below. The landscape seems to race past them in a blur of cracked earth and jagged rock formations, the terrain shifting violently as they barrel toward the only hope they have, the portal system. Draen's hunters are relentless, their pursuit as inevitable as the setting sun. Sam can hear their ships, a sharp, mechanical hum on the wind, as they close in. The glider trembles under the pressure, its systems pushed to their limits. Sam can feel the tightness in his chest, the weight of the chase closing in on him, like the very air is trying to smother him. Kira sits beside him, her eyes locked forward, her focus sharp. Her hands hover close to the controls, but she's not touching them. She doesn't need to. Instead, she's working her own way, releasing a subtle pulse of pheromones into the cabin, a soft, intoxicating scent that seems to hang in the air. Sam takes a deep breath, the pheromones starting to calm the jittering nerves, pulling the panic from his mind like a heavy fog lifting. He can feel his thoughts slowing, the fear that had been consuming him melting away. Kira's presence beside him isn't just calming, it's something else, something unspoken, like an invisible thread tying them together. But there's something else there too, something dangerous, and Sam knows it's not just a chase that's causing the tension between them. A sudden, violent jolt shakes the glider as a plasma shot slams into the side of the ship. Sam curses under his breath, fighting to keep the glider steady. The terrain ahead becomes more treacherous, the rocks rising like jagged teeth, threatening to tear through the ship's underbelly. He knows they are nearing the old portal system, an ancient piece of technology, long abandoned, and likely just as unstable as the planet itself. It's their only shot at survival, but it's a gamble. Sam's eyes flick toward Kira. There's a coldness in her expression now, a resolve that mirrors his own. "We're not running anymore," Sam growls, his jaw clenched as his fingers grip the controls tighter. "We're ending this here?" Kira's gaze sharpens, her lips parting slightly as she meets his eyes. There's no fear in her, only a deep, unflinching determination. She knows as well as Sam that there's no turning back. "It's not just about running anymore, Sam," she replies, her voice steady and calm, yet tinged with something deeper. "It's about survival." The glider roars forward, a blur of speed, the wind howling against them as they approach the abandoned portal system. Sam can see it now, rising from the dust like a ghost of a forgotten age, rusted metal, half dismantled, its once great ring structure now barely holding together. He knows it's the only way out. But he also knows how risky this will be. One wrong move, and they could end up stranded in the void, lost to the far reaches of space. "Hold on," Sam says, his voice low and intense. He pulls back on the throttle, and the glider tilts, diving toward the old portal system. The terrain beneath them shifts into a blur as the glider accelerates, the roar of the engines drowning out everything else. The hunters are closing in fast, their ships gaining on them with terrifying speed. Sam knows they have moments if that to make the jump. The ground beneath them is coming up too fast. Sam doesn't have time to think anymore. He just acts. He presses the activation button for the portal, the glider's systems flashing in response. A crackle of static fills the air as the ancient portal generator sparks to life, its ring flickering with unstable energy. Sam's grip tightens on the controls, his mind racing as he guides the glider directly toward the portal's shimmering, unstable field. The portal flickers once, then hums to life, a wave of blue light washing over the glider, its energy pulling them in. There's no turning back. They've made their choice. The remnants of the old portal system loom ahead, a twisted carcass of what was once a marvel of technology. The ring structure, broken and decaying, rises from the earth like an ancient skeleton, its once sleek metal now scarred by time and neglect. Faint traces of a long-abandoned energy pulse flicker in the dark corners of the device, the hum barely perceptible, as though the machine itself is remembering its purpose. The cracked control panels flicker weakly, casting eerie shadows across the barren landscape. Sam's fingers hover over the activation console, every movement calculated, every breath tense with the weight of the moment. He presses the button, and a low, ominous hum vibrates through the air. The portal comes to life with a violent jolt, sparking violently with unstable energy. The entire structure seems to tremble as though it's barely holding itself together, its power flaring erratically, blue sparks arching from the worn edges. A sudden rush of wind sweeps through the ruined spaceport, carrying with it the scent of ozone and dust. Sam's heart races as the portal's unstable energy intensifies, crackling through the air like the sound of thunder before a storm. The ground beneath him seems to vibrate with the pulse of the machine, the unstable light of the portal casting strange, flickering shadows around them. Kira stands beside him, her posture poised and calm despite the chaos around them. Her eyes, glowing with a fierce determination, never leave the encroaching darkness. The faint glow of her violet skin reflects the surging light of the portal, a stark contrast to the fading, rusting metal around them. They are getting closer, Kira murmurs, her voice steady despite the rising tension. The sound of engines roaring through the air signals the approach of Draen's hunters. They are coming fast, their ships cutting through the air with deadly precision. The horizon is filled with the shadowed forms of their attackers, descending rapidly toward the portal, their weapons locked and loaded. "We don't have much time," Sam says, his voice grim, eyes never leaving the approaching ships. The glider they used to escape is now a distant memory, left behind as they find themselves facing the final confrontation. "We need to hold them off long enough for the portal to stabilize." Kira doesn't answer, her focus now entirely on the hunters, her hand already reaching for the energy baton strapped to her thigh. A soft hiss fills the air as she activates it, the sleek, slender tool extending into a crackling weapon, the blue energy running along its length. She stands firm, her gaze sharp, ready to defend herself and Sam with everything she has. "They won't stop until they have me," Kira says, her voice dark but resolute. "Draen won't stop." "Then we'll make sure they don't have a chance," Sam replies, his hands steady on the controls. The first hunter's ship breaks through the dust, a sleek black silhouette that cuts through the air like a knife. Sam's breath catches in his throat. The final moment is here, and he knows they have only one shot. The portal is their only chance, but it's unstable and it's their only weapon. As the first blast of plasma fire erupts toward them, Kira raises the baton, unleashing a series of calculated strikes that disable the lead ship's systems. Sparks fly from the ship as it spirals, crashing into the dust. But it's only a temporary victory. More hunters are coming. The portal stabilizes just enough for Sam to see the shimmering energy field rippling within its ring, like the surface of a lake disturbed by an unseen force. He knows it's only a matter of time before it implodes, before the power surging within it tears the space apart. And that's when the idea comes to him. Without thinking, Sam reaches for the console again, his fingers moving rapidly across the controls. His heart pounds in his chest as he begins to adjust the frequency of the energy pulse. The portal's hum deepens, its flickering blue light growing more intense. He's going to turn it into a trap, he has to. "Sam, what are you doing?" Kira asks, her voice full of sudden realization. He doesn't answer her. He doesn't have time. His fingers fly over the buttons, his mind focused on the task ahead. The energy within the portal begins to surge violently, unstable and dangerous. The field inside the ring twists, ripples like a storm breaking across the horizon. "Get ready." Sam shouts as he hits the final button. The portal's energy explodes outward in a flash of white-hot light, and the ground beneath them shatters. The surrounding area distorts, and the air thickens as the wave of unstable energy surges forward, engulfing the approaching hunters. Their ships scream in protest as the energy field tears them apart, sending them into a swirling oblivion. The portal implodes in a blinding flash, collapsing in on itself like a dying star. Silence. Sam and Kira stand frozen, the destruction fading in the distance. The hunters are gone, consumed by the very energy they had hoped to use to trap them. Sam takes a deep breath, his pulse racing from the adrenaline, his body still humming from the chaos. Kira stands beside him, her eyes wide, taking in the devastation that surrounds them. They've won for now. But the cost of their victory hangs heavy in the air. Sam turns to Kira, his expression unreadable. He steps closer to her, his gaze softening. You know, I don't die easily. And I'm not leaving you behind. Kira's blue eyes lock onto his, a flicker of something almost human passing between them. She steps forward, her voice low but steady. Then let's make sure we never get caught, she says, her words a promise, a vow that they will face whatever comes next together. The future lies before them, uncertain but full of possibility. The journey isn't over, but for now, they've found a moment of peace in the chaos. Together, they've taken the first step into a new chapter, one that will change everything. And so, from a broken drone in the desert to a collapsing portal, from enemies turned allies to a kiss that sparked neon lights, Sam and Kira's story became more than chance. It became legend. He was a runaway thief, she was a runaway weapon. But together, they rewrote the rules of war, of freedom, and of love. They didn't just escape. They built an empire from dust and fire. Rescued thousands. Raised the next generation. And proved that sometimes, the most unlikely alliances forge the strongest bonds. Some say the cosmic coyote and the zirconian star are just myths. Others swear they've seen the sparks, heard the music, or found coordinates hidden in a drink called the Coyote Special. But whatever the truth is, if you find yourself lost in a forgotten corner of the galaxy, just remember, everyone needs a portal to somewhere new. And if this story lit a spark in you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us through the stars. This is Alien Chronicles, where the legends are real. And the next portal opens, in the next story.